It's a great day to be at Coppin State University, great day to have an opportunity to talk about the opportunities that are ahead of us. First of all, I am so pleased and grateful for those who have come to help us get this day started. We've been in the planning mode for quite a while. Things have come together. I am grateful for our partners and our collaborators who have gathered on this great day. This is an annual conference. We come together every year to talk about economic inclusion, about making sure that everybody has a space at the table and that we have equitable opportunity for everyone. This year is special because this conference has been built around two research projects. One research project has to do with our relationship with OpenWorks, the makerspace here in Baltimore down on Greenmount Avenue. That relationship extends back to 2016 when they first opened. At that time when we connected, I asked the executive director what were some of the questions that he had going into a venture like OpenWorks. He gave us a list of 8 questions. We turned those questions into a research project, and the outcome of that research project was a research report that demonstrated that that one facility put over $8 million on the bottom line of the city every year and on $9 million on the bottom line of the state. Some other significant facts about this relationship is that this was the first relationship in the country between an HBCU, a public HBCU, and a community-embedded makerspace. It's important to emphasize community embeddedness because not only was it not walled off on our campus, but it also extended our tentacles out into the community. We are a very community-facing institution, so that was significant for us. Out of that report, after that, we did a second report based on their production during the pandemic. They were able to produce 28,000 face shields from a dead stop in 56 days to support healthcare workers. Let's give them a big round of applause for that. As a result of that, those reports were taken to the General Assembly, and the first investment of public dollars for the expansion of makerspaces for economic development in the country happened right here in Maryland. Those $5 million that were, Dr. Jenkins, if you would join us, please. Those dollars that were released last year for the expansion of makerspaces in the state have attracted some additional public investment. That's one pillar of this conference. The other pillar of this conference is the opportunities for our young people. We're involved right now in another research project called Excel, Excellence in Entrepreneurial Learning. So you can see at the intersection of local development, local production, community involvement, and entrepreneurship for our young people, there's a tremendous intersection of opportunity there. So as an academic anchor institution, academic innovation center right here in the West Baltimore, we know that we have a real role to play in pulling all of the stakeholders together to make sure that everybody can come together around those opportunities. Thus, the public sector, the private sector, the academic community, and the community at large all coming together to put our shoulders to the plow to make sure that we are making a difference. So we have some statements today from some very influential individuals, and We're going to first hear from Senator Van Hollen, then Senator Cardin, and then we are going to hear from the president of Coppin State University, Dr. Anthony L. Jenkins, and also the executive director of Open Works are going to come in that order and greet you in their own way. Thanks. Put your hands together for Dr. Anthony L. Jenkins, president of Coppin State University.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. Well, it is great to see you here. Thank you for coming out to Coppin State University. Before I say a few things, let's give Dr. Ron Williams a round of applause for his leadership and his commitment to this conference. And Ron has been doing this for some time now. And this was when he initially started, a first of its kind. And I think people across the state and beyond the state are looking to see what we're doing here at Coppin State University. And I'll tell you, I could not think of a better backdrop than Coppin to have this wonderful conference. And to have all of you come from across the state to be here today. For those who are new, welcome to our beautiful campus. To those who are returning, welcome back. Coppin State University has proven itself since 1900 to be a dynamic HBCU that is irreplaceable and invaluable. We today educate students from 37 different states, the District of Columbia, and 31 international countries. That's a far stretch from where we started in the basement of a high school back in 1900. There is nothing we believe that we cannot accomplish at Coppin. And we're committed to making sure that we close the wealth gap, that we increase entrepreneurship. And we are focused in doing that in multiple ways. This conference is going to earmark or talk about some of the great work that we're doing with regards to entrepreneurship. Our Center for Entrepreneurship, led by Dr. Ron Williams, is a national leader in making sure that entrepreneurship, especially among people of color, is moving forward. Dr. Williams has committed a lot of his research and time and looking at how we close the wealth gap, how we advance entrepreneurship, how we create maker spaces. In fact, when we designed our new College of Business, that was one of the pieces that he demanded, that we create maker space, an opportunity for those who do not have the means to go elsewhere. As an anchor institution, that is a part of our mission, and we're committed to doing so. I'm also pleased with the partnership that we have with Open Works. And I think that it is going to be another first of its kind that will be copied by institutions across our nation. And the third leg of our work here at Coppin State University, because we're focused on entrepreneurship, we're focusing on partnership, we're also committed to revitalizing West North Avenue. And all of those pieces, whether you believe it or not, are inextricably linked. When we talk about entrepreneurship, when we talk about closing the wealth gap, we talk about home ownership, we talk about quality of life, we talk about contractors, we talk about developers, we talk about businesses springing up on the west side of Baltimore. All of these pieces are inextricably linked. And that's why conferences like this are so important. And that's why them being anchored at dynamic institutions like Coppin State University is so significant. So I just wanted to stop by and say welcome to our beautiful campus. Thank you for being here for this conference. I know that you're going to learn a lot. I know that it's going to be very engaging. We have some very impressive thought leaders here who will share ideals. And I know that when we leave here, we'll be charged to continue the work that is important for us to move West Baltimore and Maryland forward. So before I take my seat, I always like to give respect and pay knowledge to those individuals who are helping us with the heavy lifting. You heard me talk about the West North Avenue Development Authority. I would like the Executive Director, Chad Williams, to please stand up. Stand up, Chad. You heard me talk about our partnership with OpenWorks, and obviously he will follow me, but we'll stand up and you saw our two federal delegation members talk about how great Coppin is, and we didn't script them or pay them for that. They've been on this campus long enough, they know firsthand what Coppin is doing and how we are moving the needle. But at the state level, we also have a lot of support. And I am pleased to say that from day one when I arrived, this gentleman was on this campus. We were engaged in conversation about how we move Coppin forward, how we move Baltimore forward, and ultimately how we move Maryland forward. And so please help me thank and acknowledge Senator Antonio Hayes. Stand up, Senator. And all of our other important distinguished guests who are with us, welcome and thank you for being here at Coppin State University. I would like to take a moment to just acknowledge my cabinet and my administration, my faculty and staff who are here. I have the Provost, Pamela Wilkes, Dean Sadie Gregory, who is Dean of our College of Business. I see Dr. Rice over there. All of those outstanding Coppin faculty and staff members, thank you for being here as well. With that, let's have a great conference and go Eagles.
Invite you back up real quick, Dr. Jenkins. So my news feed is filled with NFL draft talk right now, so I want to officially welcome Dr. Jenkins to the team. This was made by our sewing instructor, Sew Lab USA, right here in Baltimore, and embroidered on our embroidery machine at OpenWorks to give you an example of some of the stuff that you can make. All right, thank you, sir.
All right, just for the record, I play cornerback.
All right, good morning, Coppin State. Thanks so much for having me back for the second year in a row to your beautiful campus. I would like to thank President Jenkins, Dean Gregory, and Dr. Williams again for the invitation to speak today. I'd also like to recognize our elected officials, Senator Hayes, for coming by and spending some time with us. So last year at this very conference, we announced the kickoff of a capital campaign to bring a second location of OpenWorks to the west side of Baltimore. And I'm excited to return today to make good on that promise. We have so many firsts to celebrate today, it's a little hard to keep track, so I'm going to go back to the beginning. In 2016, OpenWorks and Coppin State University signed the first partnership agreement between an HBCU and a makerspace in the United States. In 2017, Coppin State business faculty Dr. Tamir Lucas partnered with us to offer the first Moms as Entrepreneurs Maker Academy at OpenWorks, which went on to graduate 42 Black women-owned businesses over the next 3.5 years. This is the first program like that in the country. In 2019, Dr. Williams published Turning Maker Spaces into Greater Places, the first economic impact study of a makerspace in the literature. And it found, as he recounted, that OpenWorks generated $9.9 million in economic impact and supported 119 jobs between our own operation and the constituent businesses. In 2020, Dr. Williams took that study and went downstate to Annapolis to testify in favor of HB 841, the Maryland Makerspace Initiative, which it took a couple tries, but it finally passed in 2022, the first state-level appropriation to expand or establish makerspaces in the United States. So that brings us up to today, where we are celebrating an update to that historic MOU, which we signed last month. And it sets out some ambitious new goals that are related to the new facility that we're building. These goals include working towards creating the first degree program in makerspace management in the United States. Partnering with the College of Business to stand up Coppin State's first tech transfer department to help faculty, students, and staff with business ideas, get them launched, scaled, and successful. And we are opening the first makerspace on the Coppin State University campus. I'd like to recognize my colleague April Lewis. I think she might be still setting up our booth in the gym for the activities to follow. But you can meet Ms. Lewis out in the gym after this portion of the program to learn more about our new satellite location in the Coppin State Business School Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship. It's on the first floor facing North Avenue. We are soft launching some programming in May. We will continue that through the summer with kind of a fuller set of programming to open when the school year starts again. We will also be using that space for community meetings, feedback sessions, and pop-up shops. It's a space where you can get to know OpenWorks and we can get to know you. That feedback will inform the design of the permanent location for the West Side OpenWorks at Walbrook Mill, the first community makerspace on this side of town. And so we are humbled and thankful today to announce that we have secured $4 million in capital funding towards that goal, alongside our development partners at the Baltimore Arts Realty Corporation. So I want to thank Senator Chris Van Hollen, Senator Ben Cardin, Representative Kwame Mfume for shepherding a $2 million appropriation through Congress, which, as we all know, is no easy feat these days. And then I want to thank Governor Wes Moore, Senator Antonio Hayes, President Jenkins, and the Executive Director of the West North Avenue Development Authority, Chad Williams, for providing an additional $2 million match to that federal commitment. In addition, I'd like to thank both the Maryland State and Baltimore City Departments of Housing and Community Development, which have provided enough funding for all of the pilot programming at our new satellite space to be free for the first year. And lastly, I want to thank the Middendorf Foundation for funding the equipment in that space. So the very first Modern Makerspace was founded by professors at MIT in 2001. And since then, the maker movement has wound its way through Silicon Valley, through Capitol Hill, and every place in between. But the first chapter of the rest of the story is going to be written right here. Thank you.
Let's give them another big round of applause, please. You know, none of this could happen without the support of the public sector, so many of our friends have come to join us today to talk about the significance of this moment. So I'm going to also acknowledge Derek Davis, treasurer from the state of Maryland. He's going to be coming up to greet us this morning. But our state senator, Senator Antonio Hayes, is going to come up and bring greetings this morning. If he would, just give him a big hand of applause. He had gotten real comfortable, but he's coming up to say good morning to us this morning. Give him a big hand. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll be brief. You know, Coppin is a great institution. I always say I'm a state senator to represent 50% of the HBCUs here in Baltimore City, and I represent no other than a great institution like Coppin State University. And Dr. Jenkins stole most of my remarks, but I will tell you, Coppin is great because of the people and leadership here, whether it's Dr. Jenkins, Dean Gregory, our provost, Dr. Williams. There's an extraordinary group of people that are dedicated to the future of Baltimore and seeing, you know, this institution be an integral part of the community. In 2021, we created the West North Avenue Development Authority, which is the first of its kind here in the city. But one of the things that's significant about the Development Authority, we looked at places like New York, we looked at Philadelphia, and places where there's been revitalization, but the revitalization hasn't really included a sense of community, a sense of culture, which created opportunities where individuals were displaced and gentrification took hold. This is the first opportunity and partnership where HBCU is leading the charge to revitalize a part of an urban city in America. And so this is an experiment, but it is off to a great start, and it's only going to be successful because of the people that are in this room and that serve in leadership in this institution. So I'm grateful that you all came here today for this conference, and hopefully you will leave here more excited about the future to come. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to a great conference.
Again, we're grateful for all of the support from our state level officials. We're going to ask Treasurer Derek Davis if he would come up and greet us. We're grateful for their support. Thank you. Let's put our hands together as he makes his way.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is such an honor to be here with you all today. I didn't know as much about Coppin, but in everything I had heard about the HBCUs and in Baltimore, I was thinking all the good things went on in Morgan. And, I didn't know if I should say that or not, but I thought I would try it out anyway. But, yeah, we want to test some things out just to see how it goes. But this is absolutely wonderful. I had not been aware of what was going on with this program, with the Economic Inclusion Conference, and this is truly amazing. And Dr. Jenkins, Dr. Williams, and everyone, let's give them a round of applause. And with this being drafting, I too played football. You wouldn't believe it, but at one point in time I was running back. I believe it. But that was many years ago, as you can tell. No, it's exciting. And to my good friend, Senator Hayes, I remember him when he was little more than a student himself way back when, and he's just doing fabulous things. He represents Coppin well. He represents Baltimore well in Annapolis, and you certainly have a lot to be proud of in him as your representative. I'll be brief as well. I just wanted to say good morning. Welcome to the 2024 Economic Inclusion Conference. Thank you to the Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship at Coppin State University for the opportunity to welcome you here this morning. Today's theme, Pathways to Economic Empowerment. This conference is an opportunity to empower yourselves with some of the knowledge and skills needed to pursue your passions and navigate today's ever-changing business climate. Hopefully, many of you in this room will have the opportunity to own your own businesses and contribute to Maryland's economy as well as to your communities. It's never too early to start a business. Young entrepreneurs are the future of our economy. Our young people bring fresh perspectives, new ideas, and the willingness to take risks. Unlike folks my age, you were born into the age of technology. Remind me to fire my assistant. Yes, remind me to do that. Our young entrepreneurs inspires others to do the same, thereby contributing to job creation, economic development, and community development. But to succeed, you need opportunity. That's really what this is all about, is opportunity. You need capital, and you need the right partnerships. And I don't say those things lightly. Anybody in here that's ever run a business, they can certainly echo those things that I'm saying. And this is what this is all about. As treasurer, I serve on the Board of Public Works. The Board of Public Works is the highest administrative body in Maryland. It is made up of the governor, the comptroller, and the treasurer. It is the first time in the history the board members are all minorities, 2 African-American males and a female. Yeah, that, you know what, let's do that. And I take my role and my responsibility on this board very seriously. I carefully look at each state contract to ensure that they are being distributed in a lawful, fair, and fiscally responsible and equitable manner. In 1978, Maryland created the Minority Business Enterprise Program by the General Assembly to ensure that socially and economically disadvantaged small businesses are included in the state's procurement and contracting program. It was established to give those businesses, like minority-owned, women, veteran-owned businesses, the opportunity for bigger contracts and to participate in the state's economic procurement process. We've made some progress, but there's still plenty of work to be done. And with representatives like Senator Hayes, we are continuing to advance those objectives. The bottom line is our economy thrives when we all thrive. It will be the responsibility of our young people to keep Maryland's economy vibrant and growing. Today, I hope you take the opportunity to listen and learn from policymakers and other young entrepreneurs. I cannot emphasize the importance of building networks and partnerships that can help guide and support your path to entrepreneurial success. I hope you have a productive conference, and I wish you much success in your future endeavors. Thank you for having me here this morning, and be sure I'll let everybody know it's not just Morgan that's doing wonderful things in the state of Maryland. Take care, everybody.
Let's give our treasurer another big hand of applause. Just before we have a few other greetings, I want to draw your attention to something that's happening right now, because I think it's significant. While we're here discussing this launch and this partnership, there are 181, probably closer to 200 high school students that are gathering in our main arena. They're going to have their own dynamic learning lab. That's right, put your hands together for them. It's very important that they see what we're doing. So we have 7 high schools, many of them from across the city, but also 1 high school from Washington, D.C., that are gathering for a very dynamic learning lab. It's going to be loud learning. So we have a DJ, they have entertainment, they have the things that they like. But at the same time, they have learning objectives that they are supposed to gather. We have a mobile makerspace. We have financial literacy. We have some of our founders that have booths there that they're going to be able to interact with. And then they're going to have other activities as they close that out as we go to lunch. So it's about exposing them to what we do so that they can see the opportunity. They have the energy, they have the drive, they have the desire. We just have to make sure that we guide them into the opportunities. I also want to acknowledge the 100 black men who are here today, who are professional men who are there. Won't you just wave and stand up and let the people give you a big hand of applause that are supporting us this morning. Of course, it takes partnerships with all of us. So we're going to ask our local officials to come up now. We have Mr. Lundy from the Mayor's Office, from the Small Business Development Advocacy Office, and the Mayor of the Mayor. Let's give him a big hand of applause as he comes to greet us.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for being here. I want to send my greetings first and foremost on behalf of Mayor Scott and the administration. He had another obligation, so he couldn't be here with you in person. But this event is so important to us. I just have to say, wow. The energy in this room this morning is fantastic. What we really see right now when you hear from all these wonderful things that are taking place is the intentionality and the vision that we have here. For all of these folks to come together, when we have our elected officials, when we have this fine university sitting down and seeing the need to focus on our young people, it is just so fantastic, and I'm just so fortunate to have any role in this, so thank you so much. But this is a testament to COPPA's commitment to young people. Our young people of Baltimore City, they're investing their time, their resources in providing those opportunities with the goals of building this community. We heard about the wonderful work that's happening on North Avenue. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my great friend, Mr. Rashid Aziz with the Image Center also on North Avenue, and the wonderful work he does for our youth, with citywide youth development. And it's programs like that we have to continue to recognize for the development of our young people. For our young people in the room today, please use today to further your entrepreneurial skills, learn from the talented working professionals, and network. Not only are these speakers here to help you further get along in your career, but your peers are here to do that as well. Being here today is evidence of your ambition and desire for that success. Please know that Baltimore City is here to support you on your entrepreneurship journey. You can get guidance on how to start and level up your business at the Small Business Resource Center and also online with SourceLink. We want to certify you as a minority and/or women-owned business so you can partner with the city on contracting opportunities. Similar to the state, we have a Baltimore City Minority and Women's Business Program that's focused on certifying those local, small, minority and women-owned businesses to ensure that they get opportunities that have not been there in the past. And that program is a civil rights program. It's all about remediating the discrimination that we've unfortunately undertaken in the past that have not gotten us to the level of entrepreneurship that we should be at as we sit here in 2024. We also have, we heard about the now codified Minority Business Development Agency. That is very important. We're fortunate enough to be home of the MBDA's Advanced Manufacturing Center here in Baltimore to allow those makers a space to be able to amplify their ideas, to be able to do commercial grade 3D printing to bring those ideas and concepts to life. But the Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship is an epicenter for entrepreneurship research, teaching, and practice. The programming and willingness to address the challenges in this surrounding community is something that we, the City of Baltimore, do not take for granted. Thank you so much for your continued partnership and the positive impact that you're having on West Baltimore and beyond. Thank you.
And last but not least, of course, of our speakers that are going to greet us this morning, and you heard President Jenkins make reference to the West North Avenue Development Authority. So we have the Executive Director, Mr. Chad Williams, who is going to come this morning. And they're doing great work here in West Baltimore, making sure that there is room at the table for everyone and that we are all participating in the economic development of this area of Baltimore. So put your hands together as he comes. We're grateful for his work.
All right, good morning. I'm the last one as always. How's everybody feeling? So Will took about one line of my speech, so to liven it up a little bit, so when I get to us announcing the match of $2 million, act like y'all didn't hear it and be really excited again. All right? I'm glad everyone is here. It's a pleasure to speak to you all. So those that hear me speak never know what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, so this time I did come with prepared remarks to make sure that I stayed on point. My brother. But seriously, recently our city and our region lost a vital bridge that is impactful on our economic vibrancy. And we continue to have remembrance for those who unfortunately lost their lives in this event. We should understand that there is one bridge that has never been built, which is also essential for the economic vitality of the city and region. A moral bridge of hope through inclusionary economic development opportunity for West Baltimore. The West North Avenue Development Authority, on behalf of Governor Moore, sponsored by Senator Antonio Hayes and chaired by his brother here, Dr. Jenkins, is releasing $9.5 million of grants to make that investment in economic, housing, transportation, and green space development in West Baltimore. Recently, I provided, as the executive director, a discretionary grant to Open Works to start a pilot program here in the business school here on campus. And then a few weeks ago, our board approved $750,000 for Open Works to acquire a portion of the Walbrook Mill site so they could build its Open Works West. Yeah. Now this is the line y'all gotta get ready to cheer on. So, however, today, I'm proud to announce that I will be recommending to the board an additional $250,000 of our general obligation fund and $1 million in bond fund, which will equal a match of $2 million from our federal delegation. So clap like that. The idea of an Open Works in Baltimore was initially derived from Senator Hayes, while the location and funding and the strategy to get it done were obviously Will and Leon from Barco. And as Dr. Jenkins and as we say here at Coppin, when we had this discussion about bringing Open Works here, I was all in to be more. So with that being said, I really wish us all well in this partnership. Let's make sure that we have the political will, we collaborate, we fund, we make this an urgency, and this is an astonishment, a moment, other than just an accomplishment. Thank you very much.
Let's clap for that again. Again, this is an extraordinary moment. I don't want us to just brush past it. I think that we are witnessing history that's happening right before our eyes. And as Chad mentioned, the secret sauce of this is collaboration. It's the relationships that we're building and making sure that we are relationally intelligent enough that we build a future for the young people that are coming behind us. That's what this is all about. So one other announcement, I mentioned that today we are releasing the third study, the third in the trilogy. So first, there was turning makerspaces into greater places that was released in 2019 that showed the economic impact of OpenWorks in the city and the state. The second report was the production of PPE during the pandemic, the case study of their production. So the third study is entitled Making the Future, a new assessment framework for local production. Local production is important. There is more local production that is on the way. There are going to be facilities that are built in communities. It is really a national security issue to have production locally and have it distributed. So we must make sure that we facilitate that. So if you go to greaterspacesandplaces.com, greaterspacesandplaces.com, you can download a free digital copy of that report. Now it lays out a new assessment framework for local production. One of the things that we're leading on here at Coppin State University is how do we assess this? How do we measure this? How do we make sure that we're getting to the outcomes that we're looking for so that we make sure that we have measurable progress over time? That's tremendously important. One of the things that it does not work anymore is that we just do economic impact studies. We must also do social impact studies combined with technological impact studies. There must be a convergence of all those three frameworks so that we have a comprehensive analysis of how economic mobility and socio-economic mobility is happening. It happens socially, it happens economically, and it happens technologically. If we lead on developing that framework, I believe that we will carve out a space that others across this country will be able to follow and will lean into, because the nation is hungry and thirsty for what's going to really move people forward. Something else that we're leading the charge on is doing it through network analysis. What do I mean by that? Maryland is unique in that we have both rural and urban spaces and rural and urban communities. What we haven't been good at is recreating the economic network that used to drive this nation that really transcended regions, rural and urban. We believe that we can also lead the charge on that because we have those spaces available to us. So make sure that you go to greaterspacesandplaces.com, download that report, share it with everybody you know. Let them know that Coppin State University is leading the charge in terms of a new framework, a new analysis for economic impact, social impact, and technological impact. So it is my great pleasure. I told an untruth, but that was not our last speaker. We're glad to have our congressman with us, Congressman Kwesi Mfume, who is going to come and breathe greetings in his own way. Thank you, Congressman.
everybody. I'm a little late, so I might be a little redundant, but I just want to say that I'm really looking forward to this being a great success. And I want to commend President Jenkins and all of those who have worked so hard to get to this point. These conferences, these summits, these gatherings are very, very, very important. And they're probably more important once we get past them, because we then look back and realize that they contributed something in our lives. So I want to thank the President again, and I want to thank everybody that's involved with this, and everybody here at Coppin who has worked so very, very hard. Now, how many of you are young entrepreneurs? I need to see some hands. Good, good. All right. And you're about my age, so you're an older entrepreneur. Well, good. As a senior member of the Congressional Small Business Committee in the House of Representatives, I get a chance very often around the country to interact with and to learn from groups like this and gatherings like this. So today is another learning experience for me, and I know there have been a number of people who have already addressed you, including both of my colleagues in the Senate, Senator Chris Van Hollen and our senior Senator Ben Cardin. Ben, of course, is on the Senate Small Business Committee, so we work hand in hand, in tandem, to try to do what we can to make sure that here in the state of Maryland we're bringing not just the resources, but bringing an attitude about success so that people who are interested in businesses start developing at an early age. What you get, for those of you who are really young entrepreneurs, is an opportunity to interact with a number of people, many of whom have been there, done that, succeeded or failed, but all of whom have a story, a comment, and an observation that would benefit you significantly. I understand personally the importance of nurturing an economy where everybody with a good idea and a good work attitude has an opportunity to succeed, to be able to start their own business, and to be able to watch that business grow. And so whether we're talking about small businesses in general or micro business enterprise, it's very, very important that we find a niche. We can't do everything, and we're not interested in everything. But when finding that niche, then you find the course that you want to chart for your business in this economy and determine whether or not you're competitive enough, obviously, to grow it. So this Economic Inclusion Conference, I think, offers a kind of unparalleled activity for you to learn from entrepreneurs, as I said a moment ago, and to connect with them, and to really get from their knowledge, their thoughts, and their experience. And to all of the young, enterprising young people here today, you've really got an opportunity to sort of write your own check, write your own destiny, carve your own way. Businesses and the business world and the business landscape is changing each and every day. And there are opportunities today, obviously, that did not exist when we were young. And these are my buddies over here, so they're okay. We're just all old men. Those opportunities didn't exist then. And if you accept that, then you also have to accept the fact that 20 years from now, there will be a whole plethora of business opportunities that don't exist now. So really being able to see into the future and to get a sense of how things are changing puts you in a position to have a business that is needed, necessary, profitable, and one that will last. In this Congress, I introduced two bills earlier this year that are very, I think, significant and important for small businesses. One is the Transparency and Predictability Act for Small Business Opportunities. It's HR 8014, if you want to look it up, 8014. And that's an opportunity, through that bill at least, it provides opportunities for small businesses to compete. And when I say compete, I mean be just as effective as very large companies and corporations by making sure through a very transparent act that all of the government requirements, which are always not in the RFP or in the business proposal, are available to small businesses. The other one is HR 5999, and that's the Small Business Regulatory and Relief Act, which provides real relief from the burdens of regulatory requirements. Many small businesses will tell you that they are overburdened by the number of government regulations. You gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, which is good. But sometimes they become overburdened. And as a result of that, it affects their profit margin, it affects their ability to compete. So we've kind of cut back on the number of regulations through this bill so that all the basic and necessary ones are there, but all those that kind of got piled on over the years are removed. And it's a real relief act, regulatory relief act for small businesses. Earlier this year also in the appropriations bill, and I don't want to get too congressionally about all this, but it's important to know, we got $1 million set aside for capital improvements to the Civic Works Center for Sustainable Workforce Careers and Opportunities. That's available here in this state. And $500,000, or really $850,000 for Rebuild Metro Machine Works. And some of you may be familiar with that. It transforms a blighted warehouse on the east side of town to become an incubator for a number of small businesses and startups throughout the area. So what do I want to leave you with today? I just want you to know that if you see it and you believe it, you really, really can achieve it. All the folks that hit the jackpot with their businesses and 20 years ago were unknown, 10 years ago even were unknown, they saw it in their mind's eye. They believed that they could do it, which is a belief that nobody can put in you, and a belief that no one can take out of you. And they set about trying to achieve it. And you will notice that there have been more small business successes in the last 10 years than there have been in the last 50 years. There have been a number of failures too, because people did not see in a competitive way whether or not their service or their product was needed or wanted. Service or products, that's what businesses offer up. So please look at the landscape, look at the American economy, read as much as you can about where there is a need and where there is a desire to have something done, whether it is a service or a product. Ask yourself, is the business that I'm trying to create competitive enough to fit in that window so that I'm successful and ultimately I'm able to contribute to the economy by hiring people and to also create a legacy for people who are coming behind me, much like yourselves, into the future, who will be at colleges and universities, trying to figure it all out, because you don't always figure it out right away, and I'm a real testimony to that. But it comes into focus. The more you think about it, the more you ask yourself about it, and the more you believe it in your own mind. So again, thank you for allowing me to get up here for a few minutes and to tell you things that you already know. And for you to be so kind, you just looked at me and said, yes, yes, yes. I understand, I understand. Long ago, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, I was in college, so yeah, it was. But thank you. Now, let me see the hands again of the young entrepreneurs. I really want to. Okay, I hope I can grab, boy, you really are young. How old are you? 9? 10? It's a big difference. Okay. I was looking because I wanted to see the youngest, so I guess you won that. You want to see me after this? We ought to talk. I want to know what you want to do. Okay, I will come around and come to you, 10 years old. But by the way, the next time I see 10, it will have an extra 1 in front of it. Thank you, everybody.